I have heard very frequently to be interested, not interesting. What do you think about that? It is a shift of your focus when you're dealing with people, whether you're at work, whether you're in your own business and you're trying to meet people, networking, in ministry, in relationships, it doesn't matter. Be interested, not just interesting. So that shifts the focus. Hi, I'm Christina, and I'm so glad to have you back at my channel. If you haven't been here before, this is my Imperfect Wellness Adventure, and I am just happy to share a couple thoughts today on this topic of how you make people feel, and what is your focus when you talk to people. Especially if you are on purpose getting to know people. So in ministry as pastors and over the years, youth pastors, if I spend all the time focusing on myself and, oh, I can't wait to tell my story, and I'm just, while you're talking, I'm thinking about what I'm gonna say about my story, it's been a temptation of mine. And if you're married, I'm telling you, it's really hard when you're married, especially if you're arguing, that while that person is telling their reasons and maybe even getting loud, whatever, in your mind, in my mind, I have been working on my reply and my retort and my argument. But the better thing is to actually listen. And I don't know if you have had any opportunity to learn about what it means to be a good listener. There's something called reflective listening, and that's where you repeat back what the other person is saying. And when they share to you, this is how I feel, and then you say back to them, well, what I hear you saying is you're feeling this. And then if you're misinterpreting, they're like, no, that's not what I said, or at least that's not what I meant. What I meant is this. And so in that process, you are actually listening. And then in a good relationship, you have an opportunity to share what you're thinking and what you're feeling. It doesn't have to be an argument. It could just be a discussion about something coming up, maybe a decision you have to make. And so that is a valuable skill, a valuable thing to learn is about listening and about being a good listener. And so this topic, this concept of be interested instead of interesting takes the focus in a conversation and in a relationship off of always wanting to tell your story. Although here on YouTube, you're hearing my story and we don't have an opportunity, but I do hope that you comment. And again, here's that YouTube-y stuff, like, comment, subscribe. But the comment part of it is to develop relationship, because I will answer any comments that I see, in, any questions, any thoughts, any conversation. That is what YouTube community is about. It's about starting the conversation and continuing it and hopefully learning something from each other. And this is not something I have mastered. Okay, this channel is about progress, and I'm all about sharing. You know, we fall flat on our faces sometimes, and I definitely have been self-focused in the past at different times. You know, I've always tried to be more concerned about other people than myself, but you know, the times come where we do think about ourselves, and we are wanting to tell our side of, whether it's an argument, our side of the story, or whether it is just, listen, when it comes to birth, okay, I've had 5 children. So when we start talking birth stories, I cannot wait to tell my stories because I love sharing birth stories. But I want to make sure that rather than think about all my story while someone's talking, I listen to their story and I empathize and I enjoy it and I celebrate with them. And so that is just a thought to keep in mind. And then 2 quotes that I have heard that go right along with this. One is, actually, I didn't know this, it was Theodore Roosevelt said, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And I have definitely heard that quote, just didn't know it was Theodore Roosevelt. And especially if you're in business, if you have a product that you're trying to share with somebody, if you have something you think is life-changing, okay, the wellness company that I am with, the store that I shop with, I think those products should be in everybody's home, okay? But when I share that, it's not for me, it's because I know that they can benefit someone. But people don't really care about me telling them about that unless they know that I actually care about them. I actually care about their situation. If someone has been sick a lot, if someone needs clean products, that type of thing. And even with sharing Jesus with people, they don't want the Bible shoved down their throat, okay? And if they don't yet believe that the Bible is God's true word, then just pushing that on somebody is not going to help them. They want to know that you care about them and not just about the end result, not just about getting them to say yes to something or come to church. And yes, I want people to come to church, but I want people to come to church because I want them to come to Jesus, and you don't have to be in church to come to Jesus. So I do want to share Jesus with people, but I want them first to know that I love them. And whatever decisions people make, and let's say people don't choose the thing that I think that they should choose, still loving them anyway. And that is really important. So then Maya Angelou also has a quote, and I don't know, I'm sure you've heard of her and her books and poems and different things. I've never really studied her particularly, but I've heard this quote. It says, "I've learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel." And that is something to contemplate. Think about it. Just think about it for a minute, because people definitely end with how you made them feel more than anything else. And so one thing that I like to do that is really high on my priority list about making people feel a certain way is I want people to feel included. I want people to know that they are welcome, either whether it's welcome in my home, welcome in our church, welcome to come and share heart to heart, welcome to be real, welcome to be authentic. And that is a really super important thing to me. However, again, as I said, we all make mistakes, and sometimes you leave people feeling wrong. Sometimes I've been left with people making me feel a certain way. And what that means for me on the receiving end, I have decided to live unoffendable. So it takes a lot for someone to offend me, and even then I take it to the Lord. I am usually thinking, okay, that person's had a bad day, that person's going through a rough time, whatever's going on, that the thing that they did that irked me, I give a lot of grace, because you know why? I want people to give grace to me in case I have ever done something and been insensitive. I want people to be aware that I care more than anything. That they know that they're loved, and that they know that they are welcome, and that they know that they are accepted, and that is really important to me. So again, as I have shared many times and will keep saying every time, perfect is overrated, right? Like, you know, we don't always hit the 100% or the A+, but progress is where it's at. So just keep getting back up and keep going at it, and try better, and do the right thing as well as you can the next time. And, you know, be humble. I think that's another thing about making progress and not being perfect is humility, is just knowing, okay, if I fail, and I want grace when I fail, that if someone else fails me or disappoints me or offends me, extending grace to them is super important. So I hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful week, and God bless you in all that you do.